Hello people, today I am going to do another The Last of Us Part 2 challenge. Yes, I know, I've done a ridiculous amount of these, but I guess I've gotten a little bit of an obsession on my hands. Because my allies really piss me off in every single challenge video I do, I have decided to beat The Last of Us Part 2 without allies. I then had to meet up with Joel already. Are you freaking kidding me? I then had to play some guitar as Joel, which was ironically what I was doing before I decided to record this. Now, it is very evident that he is strumming the guitar while placing chords on the fretboard of the guitar. Now, on the fretboard, he is playing the chords in between the strings of E and E lowercase. I know it's confusing, but I'll show you more lessons as we go along. But I guess that's not happening for a while because I have to do some more walking simulators instead of doing cool things like playing guitar. I should mention, though, that my rules for the No Ally Challenge are pretty much the opposite of my Ally Only Challenge, as I am only allowed to damage or kill enemies if I don't have allies. And yes, this means I do have to kill all of the enemies if I don't have allies, and if I do have allies, I can only use bottles or smoke bombs or dodging against them. Oh, come on, Owen, not you too! That's it, I'm jumping off a cliff just so I don't have to see you. Oh, I'm back to life. I could never do something terrible like that again. Ooh. Oh my god, Abby, you're falling again? I get it, it's very addicting. I fall for fictional men too, but this is just absurd. Anyways, moving on, the first fight was actually a little weird because normally I only kill the first infected, so I did get a little bit hurt here. Also, I did play this on grounded mode in case anybody was wondering. And for the first time ever, I don't fail my challenge in this underground part. Hella yes! The next fight was also a little bit weird because I decided to become weird, and so I just played aggressively, which is not my normal style. Same deal for the third fight. It was also a little weird because I also decided to Rambo my way through. I am gonna be real with you. Ellie's half of Jackson was an absolute nightmare. The first infected was fine because I just let Dina deal with it as I ran away. However, although I only throw a bottle at the runner, I am forced to stab it. What a way to fail my challenge. Outside, we are met with yet another failure. Yeah, so the thing is that Dina is not going to kill any of the infected for me if I don't damage the other runners. So I didn't have to kill any of the infected, although I did have to damage a lot of them, so I will count this as yet another failure. And then another walker or runner, I'm not going to call it the Z word, decides to attack me, but then Dina saves me. Wow, Dina, maybe you're not completely useless. Never mind, I have to fail yet again because I have to damage the clickers so Dina will actually kill them. Jesus Christ. I then had to fail my challenge again because somehow the supermarket was even worse. Dina didn't even kill the enemies here, so I had to do it myself and fail again. How can somebody be so sucky? Dina and I then went to the Dare Club to say no to drugs. Ellie, what is that? Oh my god, get that weed out of here! Dina's rebelliousness was so terrible that in fact the game forced me to fail my challenge once again. Yeah, so because there are an infinite amount of infected and I only have a limited amount of bullets, I cannot kill all the enemies, therefore I fail my challenge. I swear, I'm gonna get $1 million in the time that this part doesn't count as a failure to my challenge. However, I actually did manage to get out of the ski fight without any damaging or killing of enemies. I did this by just running around repeatedly and leaving Tommy and Joel for dead. And for the first time ever, I don't have to fail the part where I have to run with Tommy and Joel to the gondola. I then proceeded to have a conversation with my new allies, and it was going great until I discovered that they were Lev haters, so naturally I killed them both. Lev slander will absolutely not be tolerated. Ellie decided to sulk in her room until she discovered that Tommy was actually alive. Yeah, nope, his stupid Tommy Sniper part can go to hell. I then had to unfortunately walk at a sloth's pace through Joel's house because this challenge hasn't killed me enough. Oh my god, we almost fell here. Thank God we didn't. I mean, at least it's over. Oh my god, Ellie, not again. I mean, at least it can't happen a third time. Screw you, Ellie. For the synagogue fight, I decided to let Dina fend for herself and most likely die to the infected because she is useless AF. The courthouse garage, however, was a major problem. See, initially, I tried stealthing my way through, but the same infected kept noticing me, so I would either have to go through and fail my challenge by killing 2 infected, or by killing everyone. And I decided to kill everyone. I'm really sorry, you guys, but I was just too lazy to do that strat, so I just went full Rambo and killed everyone. Sorry, you guys, but I'm failing my challenge anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And no, I couldn't just damage the infected, because there was... No. And no, I couldn't just damage the infected because there were a large number of clickers here, so Dina wouldn't kill anyone for me. Unfortunately, it's the same case for the courthouse garage as because there were so many clickers, Dina decided to not kill any of them. So yes, this is another fail. The same thing is for the Saravina fight as Dina is going to pretty much always get grabbed even if I kill the infected here. So there is no way of me not damaging the infected. So therefore, I fail my challenge once more. What was going on here last night? Was Pedro Pascal here? Because I would low-key want to be in that seat then. For the school fight, I knew it was impossible to not at least damage 1 enemy, so I did have to kill and damage a few enemies here. Although it wasn't as bad as my normal playthroughs, I just killed like 3 enemies here and called it a day.
She's one of them. Well, fuck her then.
For a part of Capitol Hill, silly me assumed that Dina could handle herself with 1 infected so I could go and grab some supplies. She did not. She got grabbed, so I had to restart the checkpoint. The train station fight was no problemo as I just broke some glass, let the infected kill the wolves, and made a mad dash out of there. The first infected fight was a little bit annoying. Initially, I just tried stealthing my way through, but this is me we're talking about, so obviously I failed. Eventually, though, I just ran around and opened the door, which somehow works. I should not have survived this section. This was not the same for the second fight though, because Dina's stupid butt got me killed. So I mainly stealthed my way through, but an infected did notice me, so I just bricked it and booked it out of there. And for the first time in I think years, the train station part actually hasn't been a failure for me.
It's been 84 years.
Ellie decided to be in her guitar era. Man, I really thought I could escape guitar by playing video games. I guess not. Man, I wish chords were this easy in real life. I formally apologize for all of the guitar references I'm doing, but this game is so freaking long, people, and so I need something to hold myself over. Dina then gave me a cartography lesson, which I didn't want to hear anything to do with that, so I got annoyed at her and left. The first WLF fight was absolutely nothing to go crazy for. It was just my grounded strat, which I know I keep glazing the idea of making how I play on grounded, and yes, it is coming up. I'm just really slow at making videos, so it'll be a while. The infected part of Hillcrest was easy as pie because, let's be real, infected are the easiest type of enemy to deal with. It was weird fighting certain infected though, since I normally don't. The second part of Hillcrest was actually not bad at all. For not having any sort of guidelines whatsoever, this wasn't too difficult. Obviously, this section wasn't easy, but it is getting easier the more I play it. And then this little bitch tried begging to me after she tried killing me.
Oh God, please. You don't have to do this.
Sorry, girl, nobody can escape this section. The next section proved to be embarrassing on my first try, but on my second one, it went much better. The third fight was actually really easy because I just used the strat that literally kills everybody in this section. But alas, as per usual, the last section was an absolute pain. And it's always because of this little pistol fatty. I hate her. Based on how genuine that anger was, you can see that I think I would prefer Tommy over this. Jesse's section was annoying but manageable as I just had to shoot a few times at the air and then he killed people, so it was no problem. And now we fail our challenge once more. Because I don't have to kill most of the people, but I still have to kill a few people in the car chase section, I have to kill people while having allies, therefore this is another failure. The real question is, how did they get real footage of me in PE class? In the Tommy Sniper section, I have to admit another failure. This just makes me feel queasy. How many damn failures can I have in this stupid challenge, bro? In the flashback section with Joel, I knew it was the same basic principle as Dina with the clicker, so this is another failure. However, for the bloater fight, I actually knew that I didn't need to damage the bloater at all to get past this section. As if a long-ass flashback wasn't torturous enough, I had to go through numerous cutscenes, so I just skipped all of them. The restaurant fight was easy as pie, as I did not want to kill them in stealth, so I just went full-on aggresso on them. The deserters fight was very meh. I'm not the biggest fan of this fight, but it wasn't terrible. The first stalker fight was kind of fun because after not killing anyone on day 1, being a complete psycho on day 2 is actually pretty filling. Oh no, I must be put in the white padded room. The second stalker fight was no problem until I had to open the door to get out of here. This is because there's some extra stalkers, and because I don't count cutscenes, but I do count QuickTime events, this counts as a failure. Did you know that humans are part of the biological phylum Chordata, and the classification of all of these different species into these columns like order, class, and phylum are done by their genera or their lineage? Unless you're talking about classes or phylums, which in that case, it's more about their physical or characteristics, I guess. I am so sorry that I am boring quite literally everybody to death with these biology facts, but I have to get some way to get through this long-ass game. The first Scar fight went okay. I did almost immediately get caught, but eventually I went back into hiding and then stealthily killed the rest of the enemies. The second Scar fight went okay. I just pretty much used my grounded strat since I normally do this part anyways, except I was a little bit more aggressive this time around. And to be honest, it's the same story for the other 2 Scar fights as well. My first time around at the hospital went, pretty bad, if I do say so myself. On my second time around, however, I was stealthing my way through like a boss. Mostly. Until I tried recording again, of course, where this little beanie hat girl noticed me. Oh my god, we must get rid of all of the beanie hats at once. I do have to count another failure while I'm in the vents. And I have to fail in the Nora chase scene.
Baby, you got to go to hell, okay? The faster you do it, the better off everybody involved is going to be. So
me too, Ellie. Me too. The first WLF fight was okay, I guess. The thing is, I normally don't stealth my way through this section, so it was actually kind of difficult. However, on my second try, I did manage to get out of here in one piece.
Get out of here! Fuck you! That's an ambush waiting to happen!
The next WLF fight was no problem. I just sped my way through. Jesse and I were making plans on the most efficient route to get to our musical convention. However, I ended up getting lost at a mall. Silly me, I wonder how that could happen. I got so lost, in fact, that I found myself in some random abandoned building with hella guys that were really weird. The bloater fight was literally so easy and it only took me 25 seconds to complete. I'm sorry, Mr. Bloater, but you have nothing on horror films. I then was possessed by the brilliant idea to transform myself into Jin from Ghost of Tsushima. He's like a ninja or something, right? That's what I think Ghost of Tsushima is about. Sorry to break it to you guys, but I did forget to record the chase scene as Abby, although it didn't count as a fail because I just didn't shoot my gun. Abby's first fight was fine, I guess. I'm not used to running past the infected here, but I was able to. Even though on my first couple of tries, I tried my very best not to kill or damage any of the infected, as I used literally every single brick in my way. Manny and Mel were never able to kill all the infected, and Manny kept getting grabbed, so I had to kill all the infected. Boo. At least I tried. I did forget to record most of this shipping yard fight and the last scar fight. I'm sorry, you guys. And I will actually count another failure for the shipping yard fight because I did actually kill 2 scars as I was making my way out of here. I probably didn't need to kill them, but they kind of got in the way and I was lazy. The gang was then a little bit shaken up by my fat ass. Then I had to sit through about 30 minutes of boring ass flashbacks so I can finally get back to some real action. Man, I wish I had the opposite of Max Caulfield's power so I can just go forwards in time. I then thought it was a better idea to enjoy the beautiful scenery around me. Nah, I'm just kidding. Ayo, bitch, what's up, bitch? Suck my dick, bitch. These beer belly, big back, upside down taco truck looking ass motherfucking horse can go beat it. Anyways, after that totally normal and not derogatory past, the first scar fight was absolutely no problem. I have become an absolute beast at this fight. And as a reward for my awesomeness, I decided to get some milk tea at Moon Milk Tea. However, when I got to the front desk to order, there was nobody here. I would like to speak to your manager, sir. I also ended up making a goof almost immediately on the second scar fight. So I had a boss fight, used all of my pipe bombs, and lost all of my health. Nice. I will have to count another failure because there are scars by the bell tower that Abby really can't kill. I've tried this on other difficulties and it still didn't work there, so I didn't even attempt to kill them on grounded. I then had another boring flashback that I did not stand, but at least I could practice my shooting skills, so that wasn't too bad. I do have to add another failure as I have to kill the infected in the woods. And this is also semi-true for the next fight, although I didn't have to kill any of the stalkers here. I did die in my first time around, but on my second time, even though I used all the bricks and bottles for Lev to help kill the infected, he ended up getting grabbed, and I knew that he was always going to get grabbed because that's just how the stupid game works. This is also the same deal for the fat lady at the auto shop. Whatever. And for the part of the restaurant fight with Yara and Lev, as they did not do anything unless I damaged the infected, but I was lazy and bored, so I had decided to kill them. I really didn't care. The restaurant fight alone was actually no problem though, as I didn't have allies, so I could just kill all the infected I wanted. Plus, I didn't fail after Yara and Lev opened the door because then I didn't have to kill any more infected. Ooh, I kind of want her to do that to me, low-key. POV, I'm the chair. Anyways, after that totally not freaky clip of me, the shipping yard fight was no problem. I just showed off my amazing skills at this game. However, just look at me in other games and I'm very terrible. The boat fight was absolutely no problem. I just stealthed there as per usual and amazingly took down a shambler. Fun fact, it feels like this video was never going to end and I am going crazy. After one completely normal cutscene, I had to save the kids at the shipping yard. And to be honest, this fight went really well. I was even able to stealth my way through the whole thing, which is a first for me. My kind actions were repaid with hostility.
The fuck? You know I can't do that, right?
There's a way around, if you don't wanna.
No, I don't wanna.
After that very boring meme, which you would not find funny unless you're Abby because she is bulky as hell, the infected fight went okay. I just ran through like normal, but I did lose a bit of health here. Of course, Lev gets me spotted on the first scar fight. I don't know if I can forgive you, Lev. This is a worse betrayal than when Nora decided to stop hanging out with Abby and Ginny after finding about Marcus. The Overlook fight was an absolute mess. I don't normally like this fight, but today it was particularly bad. It took me several tries to get out of here, but eventually I was able to. This is payback for the first scar fight. Abby wasn't buff and muscular enough, so she had to reminisce at the gym. And to batter up some stalkers to satisfy her bloodlust. The desiccated, decrepit, infected-filled building wasn't that bad to get through. I just snuck through and I actually didn't have to kill anyone. The nest fight was literally so easy and took me literally 20 seconds because of this tutorial by TLOU-. Thank you, TLOU-. I really appreciate it. I told Lev all he had to do is stay by the hospital while I just got some medical supplies for Yara. Of course, I'm helping these kids all the time, but nobody says thank you or you're welcome. Jesus. I also waited for several minutes and this lady eventually started putting boxes in other boxes. I don't think that's how physics works. God, physics class, how I hate you. The clicker fight was no problem because I had plenty of supplies left over. The Rat King fight was easy as cake. I didn't even die once during this fight. Oh, how the times have changed. The mini Rat King fight was annoying as hell, but still manageable. I then had a peaceful morning with Yara. At least nothing can go wrong here. Lev, why? So yeah, I had to save the kid again.
Those ungrateful little shits.
The Tommy sniper fight was no problem as I just figured out a method how to get out of here and it is really effective. Tommy got mad at me for putting too many gyms and that was the reason why Ellie got lost. I don't know, kind of weird, but I guess Tommy was just in a silly mood. I did die on my first attempt at the logging camp fight, but on my second attempt, I actually was able to get out of there. I also just love how they say this.
Don't let them escape! Forget this! We have to get to Haven!
As if we weren't literally going in the direction of Haven. And for the first time in years, I actually didn't slaughter the locals that came by. For the farmland, I actually got spotted my first time around. However, on my second time, I was slyly slithering my way through the crops and I eventually got spotted, but I ran away and the scars lost sight of me, so it was no problem. At least Lev was partaking in the challenge. Yay! Oh, ooh. Also, props to Yara for respecting the challenge rules. This is what a true hero looks like. For the brewery fight, I tried the strategy that should have worked until I realized that it did not work at all because my remastered game is a little bitch. So I decided to cheat and turn on Infinite Breath and Invisible Wall and Prone. I know it's cheating, but theoretically I do stuff like this in the boss fights, so I don't really care. I was able to get out here without killing any wolves, so I'll count this as a win. I also find it really interesting how Lev's voice line changes based on how many wolves you kill here. I then got some real footage of how I've been feeling for the last month because of how fucking sick I've been. The overpass section wasn't bad at all. I just stealthed my way through there and then eventually booked it once I got caught. Oddly enough, I have to shoot my gun in the Abby chase, although I don't have to kill any of the scars or wolves. The last fight was actually very interesting because I have never in my entire life done this section without killing anybody, and I didn't think it was possible, but I actually managed to. On my first try, I did die, but on my second try, I was barely able to get out of there with just a smidgen of health left. I do have to count a failure when I'm saving Lev and beating up the muscular scar dude. Gosh darn it, Lev! This is so not Shaka Bra. Because Lev was being a little bitch to me all day, I decided to scare him by doing witchcraft right in front of him. Since I wanted more recruits for my witchcraft business, I decided to hire Tommy as his actions were already cursed and unhinged enough. The Ellie fight was also kind of meh. There isn't really much to talk about here since I don't have Lev, so I don't fail. The first infected fight as Ellie in Santa Barbara wasn't a problem. Well, it kind of actually was. That was a lie. I did die a few times to this fuck-ass clicker, but eventually I was able to take them all out. I should also mention that for Abby's part of Santa Barbara, I was just crouching by them and I didn't have to kill anyone, so it was no problem. I then saw a caked up clicker on the roof. Because tell me why the exercises I do at the gym do not help grow my glutes like that. October 11th? Is this Friday? That's only 4 days away. The Shambler fight at the rich ass mansion was easy as pie, as by now I've really learned how to deal with infected. It's the same deal for the runners, as I was just knifing my way through it. The first Rattler fight was annoying. That's what it was. These guys will piss me off always and forever. References. The street fight was actually pretty fun. I have played this way too many times on No Return, so it wasn't all that special, but it was cool. For the next Rattler fight, I wasn't feeling like a stealthy mood, so I just aggressively slaughtered them all. That was definitely not the case for the next Rattler fight. I tried stealthily killing them, and then I unleashed the clickers, and they actually killed everybody for me. They even went on into the next Rattler fight, which wasn't too bad. I had some problems, but eventually I was able to get out of there just fine. I should mention that there are some voices when I'm leaving that are screaming, which are Rattlers, and theoretically I could count it as a fail, but since I killed everybody that was in my sight, I'm not going to count this as a failure. This challenge was an absolute disaster. I hated this challenge. It was not what I thought it was going to be in the slightest. And I was surprised, however, to discover that Ellie did more fails than Abby did. I also got this really weird POV here. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye!